Hi. So today I thought I would talk a little bit about when our physical bodies aren't working like we would like them to, or when we're disabled, or when we're not finding physical answers for what's going on, what we can do well in that situation. And I'm very aware, particularly here in the West, that there can be a real focus on physical health and physical strength, as if that's the most important thing. But over the years, for myself and for friends and for patients, I've seen how you can be physically well, physically strong, but emotionally unwell, or socially unwell, or spiritually unwell. And you can be physically damaged and disabled and broken, and yet emotionally and mentally strong, and relationally strong. And it just highlights how well-being and health isn't just about our physical being. It's a bit like I've said previously. The World Health Organization define health as being health and wellness in different aspects of us. So that's physical, emotional, social, mental, and again I'd add in spiritual and economic, and all those aspects of our lives are important. They're all important. And often physical ill health can come as a result of emotional or mental ill health, or spiritual ill health, or relational ill health, or things that happen that we hold on to that aren't good for us, bitterness and anger and unforgiveness, that kind of thing. And as we address some of these other things, then actually our physical health can improve. So what can we do if our bodies are not working how we'd like them to, or we're disabled, or we've had an accident, we've had damage to our bodies, we're restricted in what we can do physically? What can we do about that? What do we do? For some people it's really easy, isn't it, to get into frustration, and I've been there, and anger and irritation, and feeling angry with ourselves and angry with other people and with the medical profession, and striving to get well again. And it actually doesn't do us any good. Any of those things, they're completely understandable, but they don't help us in the long run. It's really important that we acknowledge our emotions, but also that we learn how to manage our emotions well. So things like fear and anxiety and anger, if we just let them fester away inside and we feed on them and we give in to them, then they're not going to help us. They're actually going to make things worse. And there comes a point where it's really important to acknowledge that they're there and get help. There's a very good book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by a lady called Susan Jeffers that I found really helpful to read. Acknowledging the fear, but then moving beyond it. So acknowledging those things, getting some help, and looking at what we can do about those aspects that are part of what's going on for us can help us in our overall well-being. Social relationships as well. Actually thinking about who's around us, who are we spending time with? Are those people good for us? Are they people who build us up and strengthen us? Are they people who maybe we can invest in? And when we're feeling well enough that we can give out to, and so that actually benefits us as well when we can do that. Laughter, laughing with other people, enjoying time together. That's difficult at the moment, isn't it, with lockdown, but we can do it on other ways. We can do it through Zoom, or just meeting one other person, can't we, outside. So actually thinking about building up our relationships and our social connections, and having connections that are good for us, that's a really important thing to do. How we look at ourselves, how do we value ourselves? Do we value ourselves just purely as physical beings, and then get frustrated when the physical bit isn't working properly? Or do we acknowledge that we're more than that, and learn how to love ourselves and to value ourselves, and our bodies and our emotions and our thinking, even when it can feel like actually we're worthless, or we can't do anything physically. And again, here in the West, it's such a pressure, isn't it, to feel that we have to do things, we have to work, we have to do things, we have to look like we're we've got it all together. We have to look like we're being productive, and that's where we get our value from. Maybe that's more so for men actually than women, I don't know. This value from work and value from what we produce. Maybe for women it can be a little bit more, you know, value as to how we deal with things emotionally, or how we juggle everything, or how we look after our children, or how our children are reflects on us. There's so many things, aren't there, that tie into how we value ourselves. God says that he loves us whatever we look like, whatever our bodies are like, whatever we've done, whatever we do in the day. He loves us, and he actually says we're the apple of his eye, which is amazing, isn't it? And that's what I believe. I choose to believe, and I know that, and that changes how I see myself and how I value myself. So when something's going wrong physically, it's not such a big deal in the overall scheme of things. So reframing how we have the physical part of us. There's a lady called Johnny Erickson who I think is a real hero. She's 71 now, and she dived into the sea when she was I think about 20. I think it was 1967 actually when it happened, and she broke her neck. She was paralysed from the shoulders down, and that's how she's remained what we call quadriplegic, so she can't move her arms and legs, and needs help with all aspects of care. And she was a Christian and she did have faith, but for a couple of years, as she came to terms with what had happened, she really struggled. She, you know, really struggled with was her faith real, and she struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts. And she's written there's a really excellent book called Johnny. I think it's Johnny, an Unforgettable Story, something like that. And then her second book, called A Step Further, tell her story. And I'd really recommend her books. She's written a lot of books now, about 40 books, I think, over the years. And really helpful, just how to live well with disability, major disability, and the acknowledgement that it's really difficult at times, really hard, and yet there can be real joys, and sort of accepting one thing, or accepting the things you hoped for that are not going to happen now, and then actually choosing to go in a different direction rather than trying to hold on to what you've lost. So her books are really, really good if you're struggling with disability, or struggling with physical ill health, struggling with things not being how you want them to be. I'd really recommend looking at what she's said. She's been an advocate for disability for all these years, and had major influence in America and Canada and around the world for rights for disabled people, and drawing attention to what's possible, and having hope, and having a really amazing, fruitful life in spite of the physical disability and difficulty that she's had. So I think that's what I would want to take away at the end of this, is whatever our situation, however disabled we feel, whatever it's due to, keep hope. Keep hope that there is a way through, that there is a way that you are of value, that you can leave a mark from your life here. And it may not be what you think or what you hoped for, but keep that hope.